Trasacco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasacco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Trasacco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call on 055 659 2658.
Every day he looks after his brother and chases a bus. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, and learns new things. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, learns new things, and gets back home. Every day he looks after his brother, chases a bus, learns new things, gets back home, and helps his mom. Phew. That's why every day he needs his cup of Milo filled with the nutritious goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa. Milo, the energy to go further.
From Nestle.
This advert is FDA approved.
Oh, it's incredible! Bang on target!
Today is the 8th of February 2022. Hey, I'm on air. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Good Morning Africa. Oh my goodness. The conversation has started even before I introduce my topics. But I'm excited about this one and I hope you are excited as well. My name is Kwame Owusu. So this is the Newspaper Review segment here on Pan-African Television, undoubtedly your most watched television in Africa. Yeah. Congratulations. I didn't get the opportunity to congratulate Senegal. Congratulations to Senegal. They showed resilience, they showed patriotism, they showed telepathy, they showed love, and above all, they showed love for country. That is what we lacked when we went to AFCON. Yeah, Ghana lacked it. Ghana, we showed selfishness, we showed tuno, all of those things. Hopefully, we'll be able to re-strategize and pick up from where we left off and build a formidable team which will bring us the World Cup. The last time we won the World Cup, I'm sure many of us were not even born. The African Cup. I'm sure many of us hadn't been born. 82. So 40 years ago. So for those 1992 bonds and 2020 bonds and 1993 bonds, yeah. Right. So good morning to you, Haji Amdatu.
Good morning.
I trust you are well.
Very well.
The indefatigable,
Yes.
the unbreakable,
The incoming
flag bearer
of the Convention
CPP.
People's Party.
When
No
you,
shaking.
When you say this, then people's bones are shaking.
It can be shaking. Because try and test it.
Yeah.
Proven record.
Absolutely. No bagawaya. No bagawaya.
I'll continue.
Elena Madeko is gunning to leave the women's wing for the NPP. Good morning. How are you? This your smile. This your smile. Hey. Charlie, your smile. Hey. This morning you want to. No problem. I like the smile. That's all I want to say. Delali Sewakpo, good morning. Delali is with the NDC's communications. Good morning. Why do you want to be taller than me?
it's about the way you're.
Yeah, so it's not your fault.
But it's good to be.
I love what you're wearing, by the way.
Thank you, brother.
You know Hajia sells cloth.
Yeah.
So you can actually purchase some from her.
I heard it this morning.
Yeah. So for those of you who need to buy proper African print, make sure you contact Hajia Hamdat Ibrahim. That's her side job, her side hustle. If you're into politics, make sure you do some side hustle. Don't try, you go home for this country. Your farms.
My fruit juice and my farm.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll bring you one.
Please do.
People don't know.
Actually sponsor the morning show with your fruit juice so you can all enjoy.
Do you know there's a truck in Boga.
Yeah.
When we were kids. There's somebody else, people don't know. Then behind it, but who will tell them?
Mali asks, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, the football, yes. No, let me just give you a little, yeah. So let's talk about football, yes, football. Black Stars.
So Hajia and I, 3 weeks ago,
yes,
on GTV, advocated for Milo to go. Now that Milo is gone, we are still advocating. Hajia, have your permission.
Yes, of course.
We are still advocating.
Management board, they should go.
Management board away.
Even the GFA president.
GFA president and his whole team away.
Who took 13 players from his team? Add that one.
We want all, even the cleaners in GFA. Everybody, even the rats and the cockroaches at GFA. Everybody should leave.
Helen, do you know why I'm not happy about something?
Because we are bringing in a brand new coach to come and so pretend with all these old people. And what even kills me is the fact that we appoint a coach and then we appoint a deputy coach for him. And it is the same old Maxwell Menus. Is that the name? Maxwell? Kuledus. The same old people.
To be honest with you,
every single human being there, including the rats, the cockroaches.
But do you know my take now?
No.
You know, when government wants to say something, then FIFA will say, Jack. Meanwhile, it is the government that is giving money for GFA to run. If they don't want government to interfere, then they should go and look for their money and run the GFA. That's number one. Number two, how can a GFA boss select 13 players from his own team? If you want to advertise your players, organize your African Cup or World Cup and take those players, not to the expense of the taxpayer. Then you will go and advertise them, and you have the infantry to come and speak jazz to Ghanaians. You heard what he said that when he arrived. Hey, is it Kriku? What's his name?
Mark Kate.
You see, you know there are two. One is deputy minister. That one is what?
That's Mark
That's
tourism. This one is Kate.
So you see, but the bottom line, people need
I like
to
that. You know what I just said?
Yes.
The bottom line.
Yeah, the bottom line.
The bottom line.
People should know that wearing the national outfits is an honor. Look at the way Senegal
wore it with pride.
With pride.
Yeah.
They wore it.
But even Burkina Faso wore it with pride.
Oh, but Burkina Faso disappointed me.
No, but at least they tried.
No, they didn't. You know, there was something. Wait, there was something. That match was sold. Wallahi. Do you know what?
Dollars.
Do you know? Look at the way Burkina Faso were playing. I was applauding them. Maybe somebody was going to say, please, it's a host nation. You too, if you go back to Burkina, it's the Jantes. Maybe they will give you some bonus. That was what I was going through my mind. Because I didn't understand why. Three goals. And then within 2 or is it 3 minutes, somebody will just come and score 2 goals. As if they were just sleeping. No. They show some resilience from the beginning. But last week, we are football lovers. It's because of the way Black Stars are behaving. That's why some of us have gone on some kind of sabbatical leave when it comes to football. But I think Ghana Football Association have disappointed Ghanaians. The players have embarrassed and disgraced Ghanaians. And I think we need a proper over. Do you know why we are suffering?
No.
The league is suffering itself. Because we don't have a competitive league in this country again. Yeah. Unlike the 80s, the 90s, that I will go to Accra Sports Stadium, buy my ticket at 7 o'clock when Haas and Kotoko are playing. Go pray Zuhur, then I'll be praying Asar at the Accra Sports Stadium before the match. I was in Accra Sports Stadium when the stadium caved in. I'm not saying when the stadium disaster. That was 1992. It caved in. Kotoko Haas. Or is it Ghana, Algeria? I think it's Ghana, Algeria. Because it was a Black Star match. So you see, people have followed Ghana Black Star with their heart, and now we are following with our legs. Because if you follow with your heart, wallahi, you get attention. And I don't want to die now and leave my children. I've now started getting grandchildren. I want to take them far. Because you wouldn't understand the kind of game. But Comoros, how do you call that country? It's called Ghana. I said to myself, what is this? If you don't want to play and you are called to play for the national team, just say you will not play. Let's build our local team. Look at Egypt. I think it's only 5 foreign players. But look at how they played. To finals. And then we have good local players. Then people will come.
Do you know
this one will not pass the ball to
that
this
is my
one.
problem. When you say they don't
in 1980 something, when we went to Germany, and we scored the first goal, come and see the whole of Ghana. Hey, they scored us 6-1.
The Bochum disaster.
Why Bochum disaster? Because this person, I'll say it because we were told when Abedi was playing football in his town, that's France, and people didn't know that he would come for that match. So Captain Yeboah was giving the captain band, and then when they entered the bus. All of them from their water down, they didn't know what to say to Tony Yeboah to hand over the band to Abedipele, who has just arrived. You understand? Because he brought all his cameramen and everything. He was ready. Tony Yeboah is going to captain. Before he realized, he had to ask for his captain band. And then come and see. Tony Yeboah will get the ball. He won't pass it to Abedi. Abedi will get the ball. He will not pass. It's a fact. We saw it. Good with our Kolo eyes. And this is what is happening now. You cannot be wasting the taxpayers' money, $20-something million for Ghana, 25 for Ghana Black Star. When we need roads, when we need potable water, people are still drinking water with animals in the villages. And people are not thinking about that. We can suspend ourselves or sort of stop going for national football matches
for the next 10 years.
For the next 10 years.
Who cares?
And build our destiny. What is the meaning of this?
Let me add my own.
Please,
what's the meaning of this?
Add your own.
$25 million between African Cup and the World Cup. $25 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 25. We are spending it on what? A team. Black Stars. We are not even spending it on some on the women. We are not spending some on the black princesses who went to win or went to win a match 3-4 days ago. Have you even heard about it?
No.
We are not spending it on the meteors. We are not spending it on anybody. And Black Stars. And we have been spending it on them for the past 40 years. 40. No cup.
Pampering them.
No glory. Nothing. So every 4 years we'll be spending 25 million. Do you know what $25 million can even do for the whole football fraternity in this country?
My dear, let's ask a question.
I mean, if we
ask a question.
If we don't go for
the World Cup or is it African Cup, can we get the $25 million?
No, we will not get it.
So yeah.
If we don't go to World Cup, African Cup for the next 10 years, will Ghana collapse?
No.
So
Nigeria took a decision and they were suspended from FIFA, you remember?
Let's save our money. And they use it for the next 10 years. Let's start looking for the 14-year-olds, the 12-year-olds, the 10-year-olds. Let's start training them. In the next 10 years, we can show up again. And I'm sure we would go for glory. Look at what Senegal has done. As much as I'm congratulating them, I am ashamed for ourselves. All this football nation, 40 years, no cup, nothing.
Nothing to show.
The last cup you won was in June 1982. Me, I was born in September 1982. 40 years.
Older than you.
And we are still spending money.
So you've not seen it?
No, I haven't. And everybody below me, we all haven't seen it. 25 million.
Look, I said it on the morning show one time. But I want to believe that it is the hypocrisy that is killing us.
And it will kill us.
And yes, and the fact that we are unable to speak truth. Look, we all watch the... And I'm sorry to say this, but I only support Black Stars because I'm Ghanaian. Yeah. But you take that out, and then there's no reason to support the Black Stars because there's no real commitment. I'm being honest with you. We all watched. And sometimes you get very upset when you mention the Ayu brothers, everybody is going away. But the truth is that, Massa, you watch the game. Their relevance was nothing. Zero. You know what I'm saying? But we can't talk about it. Because we talk about it, people will come
attacking you. Talk about it, so what will happen?
People will come attacking you. Do you know what they have done for Ghana football?
You know what my grandfather too has done for Ghana?
Yes.
For the independence
exactly.
of Ghana.
So that is the whole point, Delali.
So,
we need to speak truth to power.
You see, Kwame, the day that Ghana played Comoros Island, I was actually somewhere in the Western North.
We had to put off my phone because my heart, I couldn't take it. I put on the TV. Every TV in Pan-African television was put off.
I like what Hajia said. For some time now, anytime Ghana is playing a football match, the interest that I have in that match has completely waned down. Gone are the days when Ghana is playing a football match, I get so enthusiastic about it and get so excited about it. But you see, the Black Star in its current stage has been monetized. It has become playing for money rather than playing for the nation.
Play for glory.
You understand? Because Kwame, and I keep on talking about the fact that, you see, we've gotten to a stage in our national life that we should be bold and master courage and speak the truth to power. When you go to other countries, Romario, the likes of Ronaldo, Bebeto and what have you, at a point in time, they were benched.
Yeah.
You understand? At the point in time, Romario have to virtually plead with the Brazilian Football Association to have one more chance to wear the Brazilian jersey. But in Africa, or specifically even in Ghana, even when it's so obvious that, listen, when we were playing them, it was so obvious that, listen, our top lead striker, Ayu, was not clicking.
You mean Jordan?
I'm talking about
say it well.
Jordan. At a point in time, even the day Ayu, at a point in time, who was playing
was
that
irrelevant.
So you have someone like that Ishaq Fatal, that RTU currently playing with what do you call it, Dream FC, that young chap. Very, very hungry, very committed, dedicated, ready to do his best for our dear country. But you see, we're playing with names rather than playing with people who have the current form at that point in time. So it's not, for me, I'm not surprised that Ghana was kicked out of the tournament. In fact, if we had even proceeded to the next stage of the tournament, it would have been a total disaster. So it was better some of us basically have to take the disappointment at early stage than to wait for the match to proceed to the other, what do you call it, other stage of... Kwame, in as much as I agree with Hajia and my sister, that's right there from the, what do you call, the GFA president, even the cleaners and what have you. What about the ministry as well? Because, Kwame, in any country where you have a minister, where the Black Star have displayed such an abysmal performance, there's no way the minister will escape, what do you call it, any backlash that comes with it.
I agree with you.
I'm telling you.
But I think that the GFA is supposed to be an independent body.
Kwame, hold on.
But of course, it is the ministry that superintends over its activities. I agree with you, which is why it is very difficult for government to interfere.
Kwame, as we speak,
for instance, with the election of...
Kwame, as we speak, when it comes to the replacements of what they call Milo, I mean, it was all over. that there was a contention between the ministry and the GFA relative to who should succeed Mino.
Whether he should even go
the
in
Mino, the ministry was obviously for the British Ghanaian born manager. The GFA was actually for Otuado.
You know why?
We speak.
You know why?
Otuado,
the Ghanaian player.
Black
You know why? Because if it is that black Ghanaian Otuado, they can manipulate him. But if it is that strong-willed Ghanaian British born, nobody can manipulate.
But you see, Kwame, my point is this: when it comes to the selection of players into the national team, there are players who are playing in the current local league. They are far better than some of the foreign-based players who are playing for. And most of them who are playing in third division teams who are not even having opportunity even to play.
But
I don't follow.
If you want to know the true state, of the Ghanaian football, just look around. Look at the big teams. How many Ghanaian players are playing in there? That's the state. Because at the time you had Sule Muntari, you had Michael Nessian, you had Stephen Appiah playing for Fenerbahce, you had the other guy, Asamoah Gyan, and all those other guys. They were playing for all the top, top notch teams.
So at the point is that we had a quartet. That is, I'm talking about midfield. You have the Stephen Appiah. You have the Sule Muntari. You have Michael Nessian. You have Lai Kingston. At a point in
and then you brought in that German Ghanaian, what's his name? That fine handsome man.
Kevin.
And the one who just died.
Agogo.
Agogo.
You understand?
Ghana was Ghana.
So as we speak, there has not been a deliberate effort. There has not been a deliberate strategy in respect to how
go the Yahotamaklo way of House of Folk. Get rid of them and change from the beginning.
There has not been any deliberate strategy to ensure that all these players that are basically fizzling out.
Let me tell you, even those times, if you saw the physique of the boys, you wouldn't be scared to play. See, the number 5 guy was the
John Benson.
No, not John Pinto. John Mensah. Why is it John Mensah there?
No, but you see,
if you miss the ball, don't miss the man.
For me,
I think
even this World Cup, we should excuse ourselves.
I think we should.
Because if you look at Africa,
you go and go and disgrace yourself.
And go and be taking 10 goals, 20 goals.
Part of the excitement.
What's excitement?
Comoros.
Look,
that's what I'm saying.
We still have those players, the John Mensah type, the Abedi Pele type.
They just don't want to
we still have them in the quiet. I mean,
but now when you have an instance
where our local league. Look at the young men who are getting in there.
I'm discouraged, so I'm not even watching.
But the point is, who is going to? There's no deliberate plan. What is our 10-year policy for football in this country?
But this whole country have a policy.
I will still talk about the women. It is the women who are always bringing us glory. So the black queens. So why don't we focus on them? The women don't have any logistics. They don't have
those that won this, what do you call it?
The Olympics?
The African Cup of Nations. And they were stranded. You remember? They were stranded.
They have to actually bet.
Yeah, they have to.
Now on this issue about the minister and him bearing the brunt for what has happened, I think it is unfair. Look, if the minister cannot dictate what happens, therefore the minister is a representative of the government. So if the minister, the government through the minister, cannot determine what goes on in there, why is there rules? It is so annoying. Then they should wait for their money, as Hajia said. The minister did his job. The government did their job by providing you with the money.
All right.
You were supposed to do your job by winning.
That's true.
So every single person in there, from the rat to the cockroach, everybody should go.
Thank you very much. Well, this is not the topic. This is a precursor to what you to expect this morning. Congratulations to Senegal. Let me, on this, at this juncture, remind you that Trasaco Valley has introduced something very, very, very yummy to everybody. Now, Trasaco Springs is the newest addition to Trasaco Valley's, real estate development projects. Now, they have service plots that they are selling. So, for those of you who do not have, money to pay, to make one-time payment, you can actually spread it and make those payments. So, they are offering you all the goodies. Now, before we start the conversation for today, let me go for this quick commercial break. Just watch the advert. Make sure you pay their number, call them, and begin to invest in your future. It's very, very important. I've been saying this, that you need to make sure that you invest in properties in this country. Because where we are going now, Charlie, if you don't have your own place to live, in the next 5 years, you can't pay rent. Rent will choke you. I'm telling you, rent will choke you. So make sure you call them. And then oftentimes people have said, oh, but Trasacco is very expensive. That is why they have created this avenue or this platform for everybody to make sure that they are able to purchase a plot of land or to be able to buy the unfinished. Yeah. So let's watch this advert. We'll be back to continue with the conversation.
Trasacco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasacco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Trasacco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call on 055 659 2658.
Commercial break. So I just told you that Trasacco has something very, very juicy for all of you. Now make sure you call the number 055 659 2658. They have premium service plots and it's located at a prime location. So make sure you call them 055 659 2658. Let's come back and discuss some issues here. At this point, we are talking about Mali. We've already spent a great deal of time, but it's important. We needed to deal with Black Stars, and I'm happy we've dealt with Black Stars. Mali asked UEMOA to lift inhumane sanctions. That's a story by the Daily Graphic newspaper. Big demo against E-levy to rock Accra. The inside government will appeal Moody's credit rating, finance ministry, and we will end the conversation with the issues of rent vis-a-vis our salaries. It's very, very important. Aja is smiling, Charlie. Even though Aja has her own, but she's been paying, helping people pay their rent, so she's feeling it. They say, anyway, so let's go to Mali. Aja, I think you've read the story, so you can kickstart the conversation for us.
Good morning to our cherished viewers out there, and good morning to my co-panelists and your good self, Kwame. As for the coup matter, I think we have spoken about it.
Yeah.
And then we said the coup makers will not be the people to suffer, but the ordinary people of Mali. And I don't really know, but the junta, they didn't know that maybe they will be facing some sanctions and they took over power. They should know that. Because if there are protocols and conventions that people have signed on to, saying that nobody should, I was even told that, no, I watched one, I've forgotten the person, talking about the protocols and conventions that they've signed as AU, as ECOWAS. No country should tamper with their constitution, no president should amend the constitution to go third time, Absolutely. And so on and so forth. But people will sit aloof and see people doing that. And then you have people who don't have the moral right to condemning coup, because they are also a product of coups, or maybe product of a changing of their constitution. Even if the constitution says that you can go for 3 terms, and then maybe your parliament can amend your constitution, and there are some conventions and protocols that you have signed that nobody should amend his or her constitution. Now, concerning the money issue, we had a transitional team that was working the country to a constitutional rule, only for this group of people to come and also take over, forgetting that there are dire consequences when you do that. You see, that is why I'm saying leadership in Africa should show modesty in such a way that no soldier or any group of people can take arms and start maybe overthrowing legitimate or maybe transitional team. Now, this thing that they are talking about is about some money issue. And definitely financial institutions will not deal with military junta.
Of course.
Because because if we enter any agreement with you, who is going to pay those kind of thing? Unless, of course, maybe the constitution that they said they are rewriting, maybe any debt that is incurred by the military junta, the subsequent, maybe the people going to take over are going to pay. Any financial institution will be scared to maybe loan or give any support to Mali. So instead of them saying they are going to stay for 4 years, they should rather cut their stay to maybe 6 months, 1 year, and then people will see that they are very serious. They have a transitional program, a very comprehensive timetable towards multi-party democracy. As I said the other day, if this current junta think that they want to sort of untie their rope from the French dominance, they can resign from military and then contest. So that that kind of idea that I've seen that they put out there can materialize. Because even if you don't do that, and then maybe subsequently you hand over, and then the people are also doing the same thing, you still have the this thing to say that no, they are not doing the right thing, we are coming to take over again. So if you think you have the best idea, the good idea, program that is very comprehensive, that can move Mali to the next level from abject poverty, then fine, do that. Because if you are still wearing your military attire, it will be difficult for people to do business with you. It's simple. That's how I see it. I'm just summarizing my understanding of their frustration. You understand? Because people are not ready to do business with you. They won't give you their money. They even say it seems they couldn't pay some money or something. That is why. But they are saying that the organization have been inhumane towards the good people of Mali. But let's look at the brighter side. What can we do to alleviate the suffering of the Malian people? And you can't do that without passing through the people who are in charge now. So ECOWAS, AU, let's look at our structure properly, so that if we are going to do something, because the other day I heard Uncle, and it's true, I think it's 15-member state, isn't it? And about 4 are on suspension. So it's left with about 11. And then some people are saying that there's another coup that is going on. I said, back to sender, because we don't want any coup. And you know, these people who can predict and foresee, Kwame, I want to wake up one day. Then they will say that this is what Ghana, or this is what Africa will do, and they will prosper. Always prophesizing doom, 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 doom. Why? You can't prophesy that, oh, this is your goal that you are not benefiting from. Let's do it in such a way that people will even say that those who brought all their machinery are going to leave it in Ghana government care. They will only take some profit because of their investment. I want to see a pastor or a malam or any soothsayer who can say that. Because they always predict doom, doom, doom. Because after the Burkina Faso one, I read that some sheikh or something is saying that there's another coup coming. And I've never heard them saying that this is what we are going to do and coup will not happen. You understand my point? Why is it that every day they are predicting doom, 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 doom? So it's incumbent on the Malian people, and for that matter, the military junta in Mali, to look at their timetable again. Because they are talking about 4 years. So it's like they've elected themselves. 4 years, because it's 4 years, 4 years, 4 years. What are they going to do that will take 4 years? that they've not been able to do maybe within, because the transitional team were just almost there. February, this month, would have been the election. And they truncated it by saying that maybe the transitional team are not doing the right thing. I don't know what they were doing that they were not happy about. Fine. If you remember, even SMC 1, SMC 2, during a champion's time, there was a preparation. No, when SMC 2 came, they said they were preparing the country towards multi-party democracy, only for June 4th to do what? To happen. And June 4th came, later on, there was Liman, and then when Liman just started taking off, he bought ships, aeroplanes, and everything. Ghana was almost taken off economically, and then boom, 31st December. And people can sit and say that we should credit the democracy that we are enjoying to Jerry Rawlings. I totally disagree, because in the first place, who truncated it? So that junta in Mali, they didn't have any business to truncate the transitional provision that was going on in Mali. Now you are saying that it's an inhumane treatment that the monetary district are doing. You didn't know that. And you came, you didn't know that.
Right.
You see, it's the people who are suffering. And then when they do that, look at this women and children on the street of Accra. Have you seen them? Kumasi the same. I learned they are from Niger and Mali and then we've just left them. Yesterday, around the radio station, that is it where Nanaba is, what's the name of them? GH1. No, GH1. I stopped in the traffic and called one of them. And I asked her in Hausa, if you are going to ease yourself, where do you go to? He said, she pointed at, there's a hilly place like that. That's where they go to defecate. And we are watching them. We are watching them. Why is all this happening? Because bad leadership in the sub-region has made some people refugees. Meanwhile, they are not recognized refugees. So we can get rid of them from the streets of Accra. Because they're not recognized. If you are going to be a refugee, you should register with the, is it U something CR? You see? So please, let's show good leadership in the sub-region in Africa so that we don't have those people coming to take part in the little that we are also enjoying in Ghana. So for me, Mali Junta, they should assure African Union, AU, African Union and then ECOWAS, they should revise their timetable with the details that they gave. They can shorten it so that the good people of Mali will not continue suffering because the juntas are in charge.
Right. Ellen, I just submission points on the fact that military juntas are obviously not good because it truncates the flow of proper democracy. But oftentimes, I think that we look at the end result as opposed to what occasions the end result. Because there wouldn't be any coup, in my estimation, if things are done properly. If our understanding of what democracy is benefits the true beneficiaries of that system of governance. And so, in as much as yes, military or militarism is bad, we also ought to look at the flip side. What actually accounted for the current, military junta that we have in Mali, in Guinea, and in all of these other francophone countries, which have toppled their government, because they have valid reasons, really. And why is it that ECOWAS always sit aloof, wait for these things to happen before they place sanctions on these people, when they fail to address those fundamental issues which lead the people to embark on such coup d'etats?
Good morning once again, and let me send my greetings to all my women in Ghana and all the NPP women. And we are getting ready. Next week we are starting our polling station elections. So I will entreat all, especially the women, to please put themselves out there for election. Let us get involved in the affairs of our political party, because that's where you start getting involved in the affairs of Ghana politically. The last time a coup happened in Ghana was 40 years ago. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Yes. And that should be the 1982 coup by ex-president. Yes, ex-president Rawlings. And did the coup solve all our problems? I'm just asking a question.
No, it didn't.
It didn't. In fact, for me, I believe that it rather deepened our woes. Why am I saying that? Because when the military junta is in office, you and me will not be sitting here having this discussion. The 11 years that Ghana was under the last coup, how many media houses were able to operate? So how many of us, I was very young. In fact, I think I was even born 3 months before the coup. So most of us, we grew up in that system where we didn't even notice that there was something going on. But those of you, Hajia and the rest, who were old enough, if there's a coup in Ghana here, let me be quite specific.
People don't know.
You will not get the opportunity to sit here and say what you want to say.
Of course.
You will not get the opportunity to sit on social media and rant. By ranting, getting the opportunity to say what you want to say, telling government in the face that what you're doing is wrong, is all part of the democracy. We will not get it 100%. Let's not forget that our democracy is just about 30 years old. The people we are copying, the Americans, the British, how long have they been running this? America here, they are going into how many years? 200, 300 years. And you think when they started off, they also didn't have all these issues that we had? I'm sure their case was even worse. But the point is, they decided to stay with the roots. And that is the problem with us in West Africa and the problem in Africa. We cannot decide what we want to stay with. If we want to stay with the military juntas and the coups, let us stick with them and run the full course. If we want to stay with democracy, let us stick with democracy and run with the full course.
What is our understanding of democracy?
Whatever it is. Whatever the democracy, yes, but then I mean, the fact that you're able to say some, and I'm able to say some, that is what is building this country.
Does it translate to development?
It does. Because if it didn't, when you were in the, that's it. So the first question I asked you was when was the last time a coup happened in Ghana? If the coup leader decides that I'll use the national resources to develop my part of the country, where I come from, what can you say about it? Would you even have a voice to talk about it? But as it is now, right now we are debating about E-levy. We have a right to debate. You can say what you want to say. He can say what he wants to say. Hajia can say what he wants to. I can also say what I want to say. Whether the government decides to take your opinions or not, that is why you have the right to say it. And on Friday, I hear there's going to be a demonstration. If it were under a coup, will you be able to go for a demonstration against anything? So for me, the better option is always a democracy where you can say what you want to say, I can say what I want to say.
Use your thumb.
A democracy where in 4 years, you can move a government.
With your thumb.
Change the whole system in 4 years. Every 4 years, we have an opportunity as a people to change the government that we don't like. That is far better than a military coup where you get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people and their cronies who are benefiting. In the last 40, 30 years that we went through a coup, let us go check the history of Ghana. Which people benefited from the coup? Which people have always benefited from coups? So if you're a young person, and because you haven't seen a coup like I haven't seen a coup, I also haven't seen one. But reading from history, I think it is better we have this democracy that we are having. So that you can sit on Facebook, you can sit on Twitter, you can sit on Instagram, you can come to a radio station and tell the government of the day in the face.
Your peace of mind.
So,
your peace of mind.
So
now let me go to Mali.
No, I get it, but in your estimation, the only reason why you choose democracy over militarism is because you will be allowed to express
because yourself. I can tell you my peace of mind.
Yeah,
And in 4 years, I can change you.
Yeah, but
if the military decides to misbehave,
yes.
How are you going to change them?
Yeah, but
unless you have another coup.
This your ability to express yourself.
Yes.
What has it resolved?
It has resolved in the fact that I can organize myself. Being Ellen, being captain of loyal ladies, I have the opportunity to organize young women, at least in my bono. And organize them to change a government that I feel is not doing the right thing. And that is what we did in 2016.
What has it, what progress has it brought?
What progress has it brought to your
I'm
life?
asking this question because you are talking about the fact that
So you
military
do a comparison.
military juntas address.
Do a comparison. The last 11 years that were under the PNDC rule,
Yes.
compared to the last 30 years
Yes.
that we have been under democratic rule, which one is better?
The only difference is you are allowed to express yourself,
Apart
but no
from
real
that-
development.
Oh, that's really
no real
wrong.
development.
Between PNDC and what I had read, I wasn't there. Well, I was born, but I didn't experience it. What I read, what happened in the 11 years of the PNDC, and I'm saying PNDC because that is what I saw.
Yeah, but you can
11
talk about
years of PNDC.
Yeah, but you can talk
and
about instances
30
where
years.
I'm not supporting coup d'etat, but you can also
But 30
look at
years of democracy, when you have a right, we all do have a right every 4 years to tell the government that we don't want you to go. The next person comes, you have a right, and gradually we are all moving. It is better than being under a military junta where you cannot talk,
But
you
it is
cannot
about,
vote,
it
you
is
cannot
about,
change.
No, it is about leadership. If you look at the Champions regime, I mean, most of the things that we've seen.
Didn't you have any problem? Didn't they have problems with the champion regime?
No, obviously, but don't you have problems with the democratic regime?
And that is what I'm trying to say. It
So
is
then-
better.
Yes.
It is better to have a democratic regime
Yeah.
where every 4 years you can change than have a coup where in 2 years, 3 years people are killed, people are changed. That is not right.
But even in
So
democracies,
all the
things that you are talking about,
you change.
even in democracy, they happen.
It will continue.
No, the only thing you are talking about is
none-
transition.
None of the two systems.
Yes.
None of the two systems
Yes.
is excellent.
No, so the point is that what works best
What
for the
works
African?
best for
For
us?
the African, yes.
No, I'm not talking about the African. I'm talking about Ghana.
Yes.
What works best for
Ghana
us,
is in Africa.
in my estimation, is the democracy. You know why? Instead of lining up your leaders and shooting them and killing them, it is better you line them up at the polling stations and use your thumb to
Yes.
change them.
Yeah, because they don't fear. They know that in the next 4 years I will come and then I'll come and spend your money.
And so you prefer to
Then,
kill them.
Hold on. Why not? If that resolves.
Is that what you're
if
trying to say?
No, I'm just saying.
Kwame,
I'm just saying.
when they kill a devil, they never resolve our problems.
Let me hold on.
When they killed,
Hold on.
all those people, what problem did it resolve?
The point is that at least it brought some level of fear.
It didn't.
It brought some level of
Because
fear,
if it did,
and there was
if
discipline. Right
no,
now, your
there
democracy
wasn't. Oh,
has
please, there
created
wasn't. What
indiscipline in this
What
country.
discipline was there?
Look at how your drivers are driving on your roads.
What discipline
Look at
was
how
there?
people are
Hadia,
defecating
you were alive
and
at
urinating
that
everywhere.
time.
Hadia,
During the military junta, was there any discipline? Didn't people still misbehave? It is better that you change with your thumb than to kill people. Remember, the people who were killed, their children are still
Can you go
alive.
to-
Their family members are still alive. You think it's fair?
Dubai is not democratic, but it's far better than your country.
Try it and see.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. It's about leadership. It's about people who are in power.
That shit
That's
is
it.
done.
People like you, who are advocating.
I'm not advocating.
For, you are.
No, I'm not.
You are. Because you advocate for it, your mouth will be shut, and in the next 2-3 years, you'll be screaming your head off.
Don't mind Kwame.
What's happening in Mali?
No.
Don't mind
And
Kwame.
you know the
But I
sad
think
thing.
you are
I'm
done.
asking
No, I'm not
questions.
done. You know the sad thing. The coup leaders, they are not suffering from this.
Helen will not
Their
kill
wives
me.
are not suffering from this.
Helen will not kill
because
me.
it is the national resources that are being used to take out the coup leaders.
Absolutely, yes.
It is the young people of Mali. It is the
are
ordinary
suffering.
people of Mali who are suffering.
Who are suffering.
And that is it. Look, it is better you, as I said, it is better you have a say in what happens. Look, if in 3 years you are not happy with the NPP government, nothing stops Ghanaians from changing.
Sure.
If in 3 years you are excited with the NPP
Me
government,
there.
nothing stops Ghanaians
I prefer this our bojo democracy.
from asking them
I
to
prefer
continue.
this our bojo
It is
democracy
better
than military rule.
lining up your leaders and killing them.
sitting.
And then you come in and you do worse.
You see, I think that we need to set the record straight. I'm not advocating for
No,
a
no,
coup
no, no,
d'etat.
no.
What I'm saying is that in comparing our
Okay, can
democracy,
you tell us something that you think?
No,
should
I'm
have
saying
been-
that in comparing our democracy, okay, in its truest form, to militarism or coup d'etats in its truest form, I don't see any difference. The only difference is that in democratic dispensations, you are allowed to express yourself. But as to whether that translates to development, it's another question. Because you have countries where there are military leaders. Why? Gaddafi was a military leader. But at the time, Libya was far better than what they have now. And that's the point I'm making, that it depends on who is behind the steering wheel. and what his policies are, and
whether
or not he's committed.
They didn't take their change.
Absolutely.
And they are paying the
my point is, whatever it is,
yes.
whether you agree with the current dispensation, at least with a democracy, you have the option.
But democracy is the reason why they do the things they do, because they know that every 4 years people will get an opportunity to go and vote for them and vote them out, and they know definitely that 8 years they will come back again. That's the whole point.
Why must it be that way?
Yeah, but that's
so
what
we
it
have
is.
to change it.
That's your democracy.
But it is far better than lining people up and killing them. That is better.
That's better. That's true. That's true. And I agree with you on that. But that's also an example for people to see that when you dissipate public funds, you'll be dealt with.
By who? The person who is dealing with it. The person will come and do what?
They will do the same thing to you. Anyway, don't mind me.
So we have the benefit of history.
Yeah, of course.
You see, a cool of any form, regardless of how much you want to justify it, is condemnable. But you know, sometimes it's. I like what you just said. That what is the difference between a military regime and the current practices? I've heard my two sisters, my sister Helen, trying as much as possible. Trying as much as possible to create an impression that indeed what is currently happening in the name of coup is condemnable and it ought to be condemned. I will not sit down here and justify coup of any form. Kwame, the truth.
I'm not justifying.
Yeah, Kwame, the truth is one. You see, for the past 1 decade in Mali, I think they've experienced 3 forms of coup d'etat: 2012, 2020, 2021. It tells you the level of fragility when it comes to their democracy. It tells you how stable their country is. It tells you the level of kind of citizens that they have who are not ready to have patience to tolerate certain things. And I believe that if the kind of volatile situation that currently exists in Mali, or how their citizens basically respond to certain things, are similar to what Ghanaians are in our demeanor, disposition, and our nature, I believe that we would have probably done worse than what they are doing now. Kwame, you see, all the time, ECOWAS is so much in a hurry to issue a statement, condemn a coup. But you see, the question we have to ask ourselves is, ECOWAS itself, are they up to the task? Because you cannot applaud somebody like a regime in Côte d'Ivoire, where the president have to change the constitution.
Go to Togo.
Go to Togo, go to other West African countries.
Go to Uganda.
And these are people that you sit in an ECOWAS meeting with them. If you are not bold enough and look them in the face and tell them that what they have done is not different from the coup that has been staged in other countries, they have no moral right to condemn other countries when they stage a coup. Because a coup of any form, whether you have changed the constitution to entrench yourself in power, in itself is a coup. Because you've turned out the constitution. You've abused your presidency by violating the constitution. And come and see, when my sister was speaking, my sister Ellen was speaking, you know, he said a lot of things relative to the fact that what happened when we're during the era of military regime and what have you. I believe my sister here, in all humility, will accept the fact that the coup that happened in Guinea, was there life that was lost? I want to ask you, Kwame.
No.
The lesson that we had in this country in 2020, how many people died?
A lot.
Do the juxtaposition. If my sister sitting down here, imagine any of his relatives happen to be among those who lost their life during the 2020 election. And he compared that to what happened, the bloodless coup that happened in Guinea. Which of them would he opt for? Abbas, a young guy who just got married, died. The wife, a young lady, is now a widow. Go to Techiman South. 8 people were killed gruesomely, unarmed, in a democratic dispensation, presided over a man who were told he's a human rights activist. So just compare the two. So a bloodless coup that happened in Guinea, no life was lost. A democratic process in Ghana, 8 lives were lost in Techiman South. So you see, as a Christian, that I consider the life of a human being to be very paramount, I cannot sit down here and applaud a democratic regime that after a democratic process, 8 people's lives were lost because a group of people clad in military uniform stormed a collation center, shot people who were armed, and they were killed. So how do I sit down here, regardless of which of the religious state I belong to? And when you say that, it's something that we should applaud because it's a democratic dispensation. That is why the issue you raise becomes so pertinent here. That we have a democratic dispensation. In other African countries, where is he? Was he not granted a bill by a court of competent jurisdiction, which is part of a democratic tenet? Where is he? I'm not a lawyer, but when you read the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, we are all equal before the law. When the judiciary has made a pronouncement, what has happened to Gigorafoko? Imagine my 2 sisters sitting there. Gigorafoko happened to be one of your relatives. Would you applaud the kind of democracy that we are practicing in this country? What happened to Ahmed Swale? We are practicing democracy. We are applauding ourselves. We are singing praises to ourselves that, oh, we love the kind of democracy that we're experiencing in Ghana here. A journalist has conducted an investigation, exposed the rot as far as our football regime is concerned. Somebody sit on a live television, trusting that journalist. The next moment, that journalist was murdered in a cold blood. Is that the kind of democracy we are talking about? Maybe students of political research must start conducting a serious research about the kind of democracy we are talking about and compare it to the kind of what was happening during the military regime. Because I cannot sit down here.
But you know, I take exception.
Oh, Hadia,
the kind of comparison that if we are related to this thing, we will sit down here. You can't talk like that. No, I take exception. I'm very serious. No, it's not.
No, when we were talking, I kept quiet.
No, but I didn't use that as an example. If you are saying that, when you said no matter the religion you follow, and you can. And then you are saying that if Gregory Afoko were to be our relation, I don't know the details of it, and I don't know the kind of investigation they are doing. You understand? Okay, I'm from Bonga. Gregory was my friend. No, I'm not happy with that. Please, if you are doing your distance, do it. Please.
So yes.
So when you
as if we are not, we're insensitive. You see, you are behaving as if we are insensitive to people's plight. No.
That's okay. Kwame, in concluding, my argument is simple. I've seen a coup happen in Burkina Faso. I've witnessed a coup happen in Guinea. And I'm yet to read any accounts of how many lives were lost. But I've sat in this country. I was actively involved in the 2020 election. I saw what happened in Techiman South. I saw what happened in Ablikuma Central.
I come from Techiman South. I was there.
I saw the people that were murdered. The government has not dismissed the fact that people were killed at the collation center. So I will not sit down here in as much as I will condemn any coup of any form unreservedly happening in any part of the continent. I also want to bring to our attention that in our democracy that we are practicing, there are instances of the things that has happened under this democratic dispensation. It's worst off. Now some of the things that we have witnessed in a military, what they call it, takeover. Right. That's what I'm just saying.
Well, thank you. But I think Ellen wants to react to some of the things you said. You said you were in Techiman South.
Yes.
So you want to react to us?
I was born in Techiman.
Absolutely.
And so this particular 2020 election, I was there.
Okay.
And so I did see exactly what happened. I don't think this is the right place or the right time to talk about what is happening. The cases are in court. Investigations are going on. So for me, I don't like discussing things like that. Because sometimes you cloud, you cloud the whole thing. But what I would like to say is that definitely those who did what they are not supposed to do are standing trial. And that is what we do in a democracy. When you do what is wrong, you stand trial. We don't line you up and shoot you without asking questions. And that's where I'm coming from. That between a military regime, where we lined excellent soldiers, you might have a problem with who they are. They were right from Nkrumah till now. There's no way you can convince me Ellen, I'm out for Suya Deku of Kwawe Betifi and Techiman.
Why did I say like that?
That a coup or a military regime is better than a democracy. Because all those people who were shot and killed, did we hear their side of the story? Did we hear from them? Or we assumed that they were corrupt and they were shot and killed? The benefit of a democracy is that even in a trial, even when you are accused of something, even when you have committed murder, and we all know that you have committed murder, you are given the opportunity to say your side of the story. And that is all I'm saying. And when it happens, it is the women and the children who suffer.
You see, Kwame.
Usually the men, you can defend yourself.
Kwame.
Ajay wants to, Ajay, respect.
Kwame. One thing we should understand is that we are politicians. So the people die during maybe demonstration, elections. We have to be very careful the way we approach things, especially when we have the opportunity. Because maybe somebody has mourned, the person is sitting down, then we trigger the sorrow again. Let me tell you, I'm from Bolga. I was born and bred in Bolga. I know what happened. I know Gregory Afoko, and I know the guy who was, the acid was poured on him. I'm telling you, it is not a story those of us from there want to discuss. At all. Because you don't even know what to say, because all of them, their family are very active in Bolga. They are very active in Bolga. And I can tell you on authority, even today, if Gregory is released, he's better being kept than being released to go to Bolga. Unless of all, maybe they are going to change another place for him. It's still the high alert there. So that's why I don't like talking about this particular issue, because they are all close to me. The two. Gregory, I went to school with him. With his brother, they call him John. They say, stand there. When we're children, they would do some style. So please, we know people died during elections. People were shot during elections. And I can say, me, Kwame Nkrumah time there, I wasn't there. But I heard about bomb throwing and people losing their limbs and everything. But we've also seen during this our 30 to 20 something years in democracy, we've seen what has happened. I think I'll blame all to the doorsteps of the judiciary. You understand? Even though we said the wheel of justice grinds slowly, but this one is too slow. It's too slow. What kind of investigation? That you do if it's armed robber, or if it's somebody who went to steal goat, the judgment will just come, 4 years. When I was in school in Kumasi, somebody stole bulb. That time it was about 40 pesos or something. The judge jailed the guy 4 years. Then you look at 4 years old. So what later when I was asking that, because maybe the judge might be very angry because Bob there, but look at Bob. The person is going for 4 years. And an investigation of corruption, an investigation of murder, and so on and so forth, will be taken like snail pace. We don't understand. So people will have the opportunity to say what they want, because people are sick and tired of the way we are running our judiciary in this country. Because if somebody takes money, the person can even come and decide how or when he wants to pay. But if somebody goes to steal goat, you take the person to jail. What if that person to the family can pay the amount of that goat? They must be fair and just. So this is why we find ourselves in this heated argument this morning.
Well, thank you very much. The argument indeed has been very heated, but I'm happy with the outcome of this debate. Clearly, we are learning. We'll continue to learn. Maybe I should organize a public lecture.
We didn't talk about the rent.
We are good. No, we're not done. We're actually moving on to the next topic.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're moving on to the next topic. I'm saying that maybe I should organize a public lecture, so that we clearly look at the two systems of administration. Which one is better? Coup, democracy.
Look, as for me, I've told you, the fact that you have the opportunity to defend yourself.
We want to organize a public lecture and look at autocratic democracies and coup d'etats, because some democratic leaders are very autocratic.
So you change them.
And I hide it behind the cloak of how would you change them? Well, you see, the reason why I'm quiet and I'm decided to be mute about this is that the NDC is very convinced in their heart of hearts that they won the 2020 elections. Very convinced.
But the MPP too was very convinced that we won in 2012.
That is the problem.
Yes, we are both convinced.
You know where I'm coming from.
You know what makes the difference between the two of us.
So hold on. So the point is that if indeed the NDC thought they had won the 2020 elections, but because the government in power, in their estimation, had all the arsenals of the state.
2012.
Hold on.
No, but
that's the whole point. And therefore use them to their advantage and won against the will and the wishes of the people. Then how different is this from the?
Let me tell you the difference.
So that's
the difference is that both NDC and MPP, both leaders or both sides understand that if a court decides, or you put in your evidence, I put in my, and the court decides that it is party A that has won, we all agree. We have both decided that the final arbiter is the court.
In the 2012 elections, when the matter went to court,
yes.
What did the NDC say about it? What did the MPP then say?
Whatever it was that it was said.
When the 2020 also went to court, what did the NDC say about the court?
No matter what they did, or no matter what they said, when the court said,
for Africa to move forward, and for that matter, the sovereignty. No, you see, the issue is that let's not even talk about coup. Let's stick to our democracy. But I think, wait, no, I'm coming to that. Let me say something. Let me say something.
Yes.
Look, we have a system that is not very healthy. Winner take all. That is what is killing us. That is what is killing us.
Yes.
But look at a place like Nigeria, even though their system is the federalism. Yeah. Every governor has a budget to develop his or her state.
Yes.
But Ghana, when the president comes, he will appoint all the MMDCs, isn't it? All the regional ministers. We went for a workshop. The workshop we went.
Yeah, last week.
When I said that example, one lady that was on a panel, she said, "Oh, Hajia, wallahi Allah, this can never happen in Nigeria. President appointing a governor." I was just giving them some example, and I said, "Yes, we have MDCs, we have ministers. The minister is in charge of maybe Greater Accra or something. So the only ministers the government in Nigeria can is maybe the sector ministers. But as for the governor, House of Representatives, so you see, people from opposition party can have a say in maybe the governorship of a state, where they have the state, House of Representatives and what have you. Just like how we were saying that MMDCs should be elected. You see, this fire in the country would have maybe gone down because, you know, maybe Kumbungu or maybe Safulgu, a CPP can win the MCE there. So CPP people know that, oh, we too will have somebody that is part of the governance system. You see, if we can look at our governance system again, I think it will bring some kind of respite to the heat that we've been in.
Okay. Well, Adia, thank you. Thank you. But I still want to understand the African definition of democracy.
We are now getting our own. Eventually, we'll get there.
And that is precisely what I want to hear from you.
Yeah, we'll get there. But we have to go through the process.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Metamorphosis.
We cannot say it's perfect. No.
Because it cannot be perfect.
That would be hypocrisy.
Because you see, the understanding of democracy in Ghana even. Oh, Kebi. Then you come and sit on TV, you saw the president, no solution, nothing. And they say that's democracy.
No, that is not.
And then somebody will drive on the shoulders of the road. Okay.
Now they are arresting, even MC has been suspended.
No, I'm just saying. Do you understand? The people openly can defecate, nothing happens to them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
IGP, good morning. Dr. Dampare, Akufu Dampare.
So maybe we need to understand. And I remember an interview which was granted for Kagame, I think in Germany or so. And they said that, people are saying you're not president. They said, what's democracy? Your understanding of what democracy is in your country is not the understanding we have in our country.
Yes, I watched
So the fact that you change your government every 4 years does not mean that yours is a better democracy than mine.
He said
you know what I'm saying? So
he said it.
Once it is working and the people are benefiting from the fruit of that exercise,
there's no patriotism.
Why not? There's no patriotism. Because of the over-reliance and over entrenchment, if you will, of what we describe as the principles of democracy. That's the whole point. Because of democracy, people actually openly flout laws and get away with it.
Let's hurry up and talk about the rent too.
Let's move on. Let's move on and look at this big demo against E-levy. Ellen, I'll start with you. E-levy. There's a demonstration that is happening tomorrow. NDC,
tomorrow or Friday?
Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Thursday.
Okay.
Tomorrow is Wednesday actually. No, so Thursday. NDC together with some civil society organizations, I think Justice for something. What? So, CSJ.
Oh, you know there'll be creation of new ones.
And then some concerned students association or something like that. There's unemployment something. Those people have all come together.
But unemployment, you don't even have money to
pay. People are
unemployed something. They've all come together and they are staging a demonstration against the E-levy. Ellen, let me start with you on this one.
Oh, they have a right to stage.
Because we are democracy.
Of course. Why not? I'll be the very, very last person to say that they shouldn't stage a demonstration. In fact, tomorrow morning, if you wake up and you don't like the shape of your husband's nose, you can have a demonstration. If you wake up and you don't like what is going on in your community, you can have a demonstration. All you have to do is to properly inform the police as it is. You are not asking permission from the police. You are informing them that you're going to do this and get the ground rules straight. Why not? I mean, every single thing that every single Ghanaian has against something the government is doing, something the assembly is doing, even something in your own family life, if you are not happy with it, please go ahead, demonstrate. Vent out your frustrations. Tell what you want to tell. Let the whole world know that you were given the opportunity and you spoke and you are speaking well. So I wish them well. I wish them Godspeed. I hope they will do it. They will observe all the COVID protocols. They would make sure that they don't get hurt. They should do everything right that they have to do. Why not?
Why not? Ellen Deco says, well, so long as you have air running through your lungs, and so long as you are displeased about all that is happening, even if you don't like your husband and you want to demonstrate, you have the right to demonstrate. If you want 4 children and husband intends to give you just 1, you can demonstrate. So we all have, just as any idiot can go to court, anybody can organize a demonstration.
That's just your interpretation. What I am saying that they are Ghanaians, they have the right
to demonstrate.
Yeah. So it is good that they are taking on that right and they are demonstrating. So they should let us know what they are. Definitely they should have what do you call it? A communique stating why they are demonstrating and who they are sending it to. So they should do all that. And I'm sure government would look at it. But as for them demonstrating, why not?
Yesterday I watched your press conference. Organized by
you're one of the organizers.
No.
Oh, okay.
He is actually an active member of the demonstrators.
Oh, okay. All right.
He will be demonstrating. The demonstrator.
Kwame, this whole thing about demonstration has basically come out as a result of this government, government desire to impose this Draco E-levy.
You know, before you even go on there, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is the NDC so opposed to the E-levy?
I'll give you.
I remember that you people introduced VAT.
Kwame, but
now we are bringing another tax, and you people are saying, why will you introduce the tax, and then the likes of Mr. Kwesi Pratt and Nana Akufo-Addo, Kweku Bakoe, and a few others, Sheshe and all of the party was really part of it. They were demonstrating against them, but you people said you've never heard it.
Kwame, I believe at the time I'm done with my.
I will understand that.
You understand where I'm coming from.
Convince me, because I have a strong mind.
Kwame, you see, in fact, this is the first time I'm basically commenting as far as media engagement is concerned relative to this E-levy debacle or this thing that has been going on. Kwame, I've heard a lot of justification from government as to the reason why they intend to impose this E-levy. I mean, I listened to the Minister for Information who said that there will be no salary for government workers if E-levy is not is rejected. President Danso Akufo-Addo himself is talking about the fact that free water, electricity caused the state to be in its current situation, and for that matter, that is the reason why we have to impose the E-levy. I've heard the finance minister also talk about the fact that, in fact, Ghana Ghana will go back to IMF if we decide not to accept the E-levy. I listened to the Minister for Defense. I mean, he said the only way the president can stop, hiring this hyper luxurious private jet is when we impose the E-levy. I've listened to the finance minister talking about the fact that the E-levy has what it takes to create almost about 11 million jobs. I've talked about the fact that our great minister talking about the fact that without the E-levy, farmers will be deprived of fertilizers. I've heard Akunyo Markins also talk about the fact that without E-levy, NAPCO people will be out of job. And I keep on asking myself, how much is Ghana going to get from the E-levy? That's all the ministers, government appointees, including the president himself. It's creating an impression that without E-levy, this country cannot go forward. Kwame, but in all this, I want you a journalist. I mean, I'm here to hear the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana comment with respect to this E-levy.
He has nothing to say. Why should he?
Why?
Why are you forcing?
He's the head of the economic management team. He's the one that granted an interview on what they call it, Peace FM, and made it categorical.
What do you want to
that
do?
is unconscionable.
What do you want him to say?
No, I want him to speak.
Why?
He's the head of the economic management team. He made a series of statements prior to the 2016 election. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia must speak. He granted an interview on Peace FM. And he made a categorical statement that he thinks is unconscionable.
You are trying to force the horse.
No, I'm not forcing the horse. I'm putting the facts. These are facts. These are no opinion that I'm expressing. He said he thinks it's unconscionable for anybody to impose tax when it comes to Mumu, or that is what he said. So why is he not speaking? Kwame, you as a journalist, how do you feel that as the head of the economic management team, with all this commentary going on, that the country's economy is in shambles, and yet the man who is in charge of economic management team, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, is yet to speak, is yet to utter a word? Don't you feel scandalized as a journalist, Kwame? But Kwame, the point is simple. How much have this government, after taking over in 2017, how much have they gotten in terms of revenue? You're talking about almost 500 billion Ghana cedis. How much are you going to get from E-levy? 6.2 billion? And you're telling us that with all the 500 billion that has come to you in the name of revenue, all the things that you are telling Ghanaians that without E-levy you cannot implement, you are telling us that 500 billion Ghana cedis was unable to implement all this. But yet you are banding your hope on 6.2 billion. How illogical can this be, Kwame? And Kwame, the point is this. We sit in this country. Then you have an instances that the NPP government, and listen to the finance minister, said, oh, because of COVID, there's a revenue shortfall. Is that not what the finance minister is saying? Kwame, 2020, when there's a peak of COVID in this country, our revenue was 44.5 billion. And you remember the NPP government, led by the finance minister, said they have even exceeded their targets. That was in 2020 when the COVID was at its peak. In 2021, we increased it by 10 billion, that is 55.5 billion. So the argument about the fact that there's a shortfall of revenue because of COVID is neither here nor there, it's dead on arrival. On the basis of the evidence that is before us. And Kwame, the point is, another point is this. You have an instances where they said, oh, when the finance minister was then in opposition, I mean, you see, sometimes when I even sit down and I want to even watch some of the videos, some of the comments made by the finance minister, made by the current vice president, made by the president himself, when they were in opposition. And I just suppose that with what is currently happening and the sub-position that you have adopted, I ask myself, are these people principled? Where is the values? Where is the consistency? Where is the principle as a politician? Because, in fact, the issue about even imposition of tax should not even arise as far as even the NPP are concerned. Because Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia told us that I've had an opportunity to work at Bank of Ghana before. Indeed, there's so much money in this country we don't need tomorrow. These are not my words. These are the words of Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, the current vice president of the Republic of Ghana. the head of our economic management team. These are some of the statements he made prior to the 2016 election. Kwame, what has changed? The president himself said, Ghana, we are sitting on tons of money. He doesn't understand the reason why we're going through the kind of problem that we're going through during the NDC time. What has changed? Has the money disappeared? What has changed? How much has this government borrowed? And what is there to show in terms of visibility and verifiability? What is there to show, Kwame? What is there for the NPP to point to is that almost about 500 billion in terms of revenue, almost about 244 billion that you have borrowed. What is there concrete to show to the good people of this country? Because indeed, if you are able to show us something, and you are coming for this E-levy, then Ghanaians would have stand to reason that on the basis of what you have used the money that you have gotten in the past, these are the visible and verifiable things that we can attest to. Then indeed, you are more justifiable to impose this draconian E-levy on the good people of this country. But there's absolutely nothing to show. So when I see this argument, and now Kwame, people talk about COVID, but you see, we are not talking about the amounts of money this government got as a result of COVID. Kwame, they told us that the World Bank gave us is that not what they said? Today, the World Bank is telling us the amount of money that they gave to the government of the Republic of Ghana was almost about $485 million. So all this while we were being more or less conservative with respect to the figures. They gave them $485 million United States dollars to the government of the Republic of Ghana to what we call to deal with the COVID issues. How much money did we receive from IMF? We received IMF almost $1 billion. The stabilization fund by President Mahama, we took $250 million. When it comes to the World Bank, 100 million. When it comes to IMF, $2 billion. When it comes to European Union, we are talking about 85.6 million. All this money put together. Tell us what this money was. Tell us what this money was expended on. Tell us something that you use this money for. So you are basically interested to talk about COVID and the challenges that it poses to the economy. You're not telling us how much you spend, the amount of money you got as a result of what did you use that money for. Tell us, be accountable to the good people of this country, that this is what I use the COVID money for. So you see, you have an instance where a government that has arrogated to itself, oh, we are doing so well. But when you ask them the obvious question, there's nothing to show. The first thing they was talking about, oh, we are implementing what we call free SHS. Kwame, how much have they spent when it comes to free SHS? So what the NDC is saying is simple. Can you cut down your profligate, expensive, luxurious lifestyle? Can you just do that? The corruption, as we are talking, the Auditor General Report 2020 is telling us that we lost an amount of 12.85 billion through irregularity, corruption, misappropriation. So you have left that money, we have lost it as a result of corruption, irregularities, and what have you not. And then you are going after 6.2 billion. You think 6.2 billion is the game changer to transform this country? Now, when you're talking about road, we need E-levy. When you're talking about school, we need E-levy. When you're talking about this E-levy, like Uncle Kwesi Pratt aptly put it, succinctly, he said, it's like he has become like Akuba, capable of dealing and curing every disease in this country. All the challenges that is confronting the good people of this country is only E-levy that holds the panacea to deal with these problems. When did the NPP even come to the realization that indeed imposition of tax is what solves a country's problem? So you see, Kwame, the NDC and its 137 gallant MPs in Parliament, questionable MPs, are saying that, listen, we will not allow the NPP government to further worsen the plight of the good people of this country. We will not allow the NPP government to collapse this country, because look at the rating, the Moody, the Fitch. And all of a sudden, President Danso Akufo-Addo, who in 2016, prior to the 2016, was basically quoting rating agencies to justify why he thinks that the economy was in bad shape. All of a sudden, is now fighting against rating agencies. You see, that's why I'm saying the president has never been consistent. The president has never been principled. Because some of the things that he said prior to the 2016 election, all of a sudden, the president is running away from it. All the things the president made references to as the basis upon which this country was in a mess. All of a sudden, the president is running away from it. You remember during the NDC time, when they talk about debt to GDP ratio, 72%. Oh, Kenneth Fonata said, well, the country is in shambles. The country is in total mess. The country is at the point of irredeemable. The country, you see, we are at the point of no redemption. Today, debt to GDP is 82%, including what we call it, ESLA.
In conclusion.
You see, in conclusion, Kwame, the NDC associates itself with the suffering masses. The NDC, just like President Mahama said, the NPP must swallow the pride and invite Ghanaians to the table so that Ghanaians will be able to express an opinion when it comes to how this country should be managed. The NDC is saying that Ghanaians are already suffering. Go to the markets. Look at fuel prices. All of a sudden, fuel has gone beyond 7 Ghana cedis. Where's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? When he was tweeting that Ghanaians are suffering, Ghanaians are suffering. When even fuel was somewhere around, 14 Ghana cedis, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the vice presidential candidate at that time, was creating a certain impression that he did. The NDC has put Ghanaians in an unbearable situation. All of a sudden, he's quiet. Look at the exchange rate. So what we are just simply saying is this: if the government can cut down its expenditure, if the president can stop renting luxurious, hyper expensive private jets in the name of wanting to bath in the sky, it's enough to raise enough revenue to deal with the problem that we are confronting the good people of this country. Exactly, because we will not allow this government to further worsen the plight of the good people of this country.
Very well, thank you. Hadia.
Kwame, you see, as for demonstration, everybody has the right to demonstrate, and I hope and pray that the demonstration will be peaceful, because they are going out there to register their displeasure, isn't it? But what I want the good people of Ghana to know is that whether NDC or MPP, they would have implemented E-levy. They would have implemented E-levy. The only party that will not implement E-levy is CPP, because of what we have put in our manifesto. We said we will plug all the loopholes. We will not give multinationals, these foreign companies, maybe tax holiday about 6 years, 5 years. When they get all their profits, then they will declare bankruptcy and then sell it to another company, and they will be milking the nation. We will plug all those loopholes. Why am I saying this? The NDC are in parliament. CPP, we said we don't want E-levy, but we don't have a vote in parliament. Do we have? No. We don't have. Demonstration, fine, but you demonstrate it by the thumb. Like if you're not happy with the government, in 4 years' time, you use your thumb. Because it's sitting there. Yesterday, I was listening to one of the radio stations. It just passed through my ears. Apparently, they also have it in their manifesto that they will implement. So that is why I'm facing the camera to take the good people of Ghana. NDCO, MPPO, they would have implemented E-levy.
For the record, there's nothing like that in the NDC manifesto, for the record.
Please.
Yesterday, when the guy was saying it, that your distance. So I went and did the research and looked for it. That their page 99 of their manifesto.
How do I read it so that everybody will hear you?
No. Wait. So I just went, and this is the manifesto. But you know, it's a very detailed distance. So I was suspecting if I say something.
Section 8 and 7.
And 8 and 7. So I said,
Let me help.
So NDC, they are also saying they don't like. No wonder. That was why from the beginning their minority leader said he will be comfortable with 1%. So they should tell us the percentage that they are against, like the way CPP. We don't have it in our manifesto. And MPP, I don't think they have it in their manifesto, but they are just implementing it. It's like some afterthought kind of decision that they do. But this is a situation where we have a voluminous document that has that. And the guy read it. So I went and said, I've never read NDC manifesto, but let me look for it. Because we have to tell the good people of Ghana the truth. How can we raise revenue? And the government too. Look, there are so many things that we can do in this country to plug the loopholes. My brother here talked about Auditor General. Wallahi, go and take from 1993. Auditor General's report. If we are able to chase the criminals and the thieves that stole the Ghana money, Well, I won't go for E-levy, we won't go for loan, we won't go for any IMF threat, and then nothing, we won't go. But we have left criminals to be walking on the street of Ghana. Free, that is why we are in danger. That is why we have a problem. You understand? That is why we have a problem. From 1993, auditor's report is there, written red and black, and then people will come and say, I'm sorry, and then you are sorry and you are stealing money. You understand? And then they want to squeeze those of us who don't have to pay more. That is where I have a problem. Let's plug the loopholes where we should raise revenues and what have you. And I can tell you again, if it's NDC or MPP, they will implement E-levy.
No, that's not true.
They will. The party that will never do that because we are the top bearers of African emancipation. That's the Convention People's Party. We will not do because we know the suffering of this country. And we have been in position since Liman time. So we are there with the downtrodden. You understand? So for me, the demonstration, they should go. It is their right. It is their right to demonstrate. And the police should give them the necessary protection because it is their right. What I will not expect is maybe a counter demonstration as we saw in the Kwame Prekon. That about 6 people died or something. No? I don't want to see that. But it is their right to demonstrate. You understand? But in demonstrating, we have to be honest and sincere with the good people of this country. I would have expected the NDC to rather to demonstrate their power in Parliament.
We are doing that.
They have wanted to. Because demonstration cannot vote.
They can.
Those who are coming out to demonstrate, can they go and vote in Parliament? No, they can't go and vote in Parliament.
Signal.
Now, go and tell the people, you are also having a town hall meeting. Tell the people who are, because I'm telling you, demonstrations in this country, at times I don't feel comfortable, even though people have the right to demonstrate. At the end of the day, those who will be the beneficiaries of the demonstration will not be affected, true or false. I'm asking, true or false? The beneficiary of the demonstration.
Who will be the beneficiary?
Those who virtually come. No, those who virtually come to power. When Kwame Prekon, who were the leaders of Kwame Prekon? Kweku Bakun, Kwesi Pratt, Sheshi, blah blah. We are bojo at the back. You understand?
Backbenchers.
Backbenchers, isn't it? And then when they came to power, they increased it, isn't it? It was withdrawn, reintroduced gradually, and these people too nicely packaged. So you see, now you don't know whom to trust. That is where we have found ourselves. But what we can do as Ghanaians is to
this is the NEC manifesto. Maybe they can show us where
is to hold all those who have taken money, and the Auditor General have proven that. Not just the 2021, from 1993. Somebody is compiling that. Do you know that? From 1993, auditor's report.
It has always been E-levy in it.
No, not E-levy. I'm saying the rot, the money people have chopped. Of course. And people have even gone to their graves. So hand over the money to their grandchildren and their children, and they are enjoying. Meanwhile, we have to do that. Okay. You see, when we do that, then we have the moral right to even say Ghanaians, do this or don't do that. Right. When we have where we are going to get the money. Because so, let us castle. Come there.
All right. Thank you very much.
Kwame, for the record, this is the NDC manifesto. So maybe if I could be told where.
But she's told it. She said page 99, section 8 and 7.
Page what? 99. Okay.
With the rent issue.
Yes.
That's what I will open it for you. Maybe you.
Rent,
Go bring it.
Page 99, really.
And you give it to me. I need it.
Give it to Kwame. Don't want to mention Kwame. We just.
No, she'll find it for you. Let's go to rent.
Let's start with you, Ellie.
As for
rent.
Rent. I don't know whether I should say I am a proud rentee.
Promote digital financing to drive financial inclusion, financial development.
Can I go ahead with my rent? In the last since 2007, by you people, pay attention to me now. I'm talking about.
Let me just read this and then you talk about rent, Ellie. Page 99. 8.7a. The next NDC government. Okay, so let me just read the preamble. A higher, that's financial inclusion and electronic payments, fintech. Financial inclusion and electronic payments, fintech.
Yeah.
A higher level of financial inclusion will not only benefit the poor, create jobs, and reduce inequality, but will also grow the formal financial sector. Currently, Ghana's percentage of financial inclusion is estimated at 58% as at the end of 2017,
Financial inclusion.
and expected to increase to 75% by 2023. The next NDC government will A. promote digital finance to drive financial inclusion and financial development. B. Work with the various stakeholders in the financial and technology sectors to collaborate and design a resilient financial systems through partnerships. C. Introduce a uniform transaction fee policy to guide the electronic payment industry. Work with merchants to encourage their clients to pay for goods and services electronically. Migrate and enforce all person-to-government payment into. Honestly, it doesn't talk about it.
Exactly. So what are we talking about?
I've worked with the
Nothing.
precisely,
Kwame.
I work with mobile money.
Exactly.
What they are saying here is not about introduction.
Oh.
So the
So how the vendors, they're going to work with the vendors
Yeah,
to do what?
So what they are saying is that they will introduce a uniform transaction
uniform.
because currently when you do the interoperability, for instance, you transfer money from MTN to Tigo,
Exactly.
you pay more as opposed to pay.
I'll
sending
take
money
you to
from
lunch.
MTN to MTN.
so what is
So
the difference between that
they wanted
and the
to
E-levy?
introduce a uniform system
Exactly.
whether you transfer from MTN to Tigo.
You pay the
or
same thing.
You pay the same,
Exactly.
the same charge across the board.
Exactly.
No.
Ellie, let's talk about it.
But it's still e-transaction. That's not, it's not E-levy.
Let me talk about
Rent.
my rent matter. I said I'm a proud
Oh no.
Rentee.
I want to study it.
You want
Please, let's allow Ellie.
I
You
come
can have a soft copy.
since 2007 that I
And
finished.
they already
Yes, I finished.
The same place.
I finished national service.
2007.
Yes. And,
207.
207. I finished Legon in 206. So 207, I had to do national service. And my parents live in Kaswa. I still do live there. So, I mean, when you're doing national service at Legon, there's no way you could have been coming from Kaswa for work. So I had to rent.
When
So
there was not even
off-
traffic at that time.
Yes, I started living at Abelinkpe. That's why I rented my first. My father did it.
Okay.
I have to say thank you. As for me and my father,
Dadaba.
everybody who listens to
bee.
me knows that
Dadaba.
it's not a matter of just the Dadaba. I'm his first girl. I'm the first of 3 girls. His first- and so that one, me and my father, you know.
So you're not-
So daddy did that for me the first time. After the first time, daddy said, "It is okay. You're a big girl now. Start renting your house." So when that year ended, I had to start renting, and I have been renting from then since now.
Good.
So where I'm living now is my 10th rental place. Yes, and I'm the sort who I decide I won't go back home to. It's not as if my father doesn't have a place. I prefer to be independent.
Exactly.
And I'm sure a lot of young ladies like me and young people want to be independent. We don't want to live in our parents' house. So me, when you're talking about rent in Accra, I have experience, so my dear. From getting the money is an issue. I'll come to that. But when you struggle and you get the money, if you don't take care, by the time you get a place to live, you have dissipated all your money.
Agents.
Agents, dishonest landlords,
yeah.
people who don't own the building and they'll tell you they are the owners, they'll collect some money. In fact, by the time you go there, if you're a woman, your case is extra. You have to think about security. You have to seriously think about security wherever you are living, especially if you're a single woman. It's a whole headache. I have gone through it in the past from 2007 till now. That's how many years. So it should tell you. When I moved out of Accra and I moved to Wenchi, I had to go and work there. I also had to rent a place. But when you move out of Accra or the big cities, it is a bit better.
Yeah.
You get better housing for cheaper prices.
Sure.
Now
That's
it's
true.
not like
But in the big cities, so me, I have been a small city dweller. I have been a big city dweller in my last over 10 years. The rent matters. In fact, this year as I speak, my rent is up. Good morning, my landlady. I have to greet her. and the monies you have to pull up and go and pay the rent. I was on a program with a gentleman from the rent agency, rent control, and they were saying that this year they have a database, assembly by assembly, district assembly by district assembly, where they are now going to put in all properties that are meant for rentals. Oh, let me explain now. All properties that are meant for rentals. So if you need to rent a house, you have to go there and go and check. If you have to renew your property or your rent, you have to go there. Now the question I ask, implementation. We have all these beautiful laws on rent.
Sure.
How many of them have been implemented? And then the next question I ask, please, so the rent I'll pay to my landlady and I'll pay. Will government take tax out of that one? How is the process done? Because the amounts of monies that are being raised as rent, and then those of you in the what is it, the real estate industry, Kwame, yeah, in it, so I'll ask you. Those on unoccupied houses, all of Accra, that people are selling. Some of the houses have been on the market for 5-6 years.
Yes.
Are those killer prices, cutthroat prices? Can't we do anything about it as industry players with government so that you can rent out those properties or sell them out at a cheaper price? As I said, and I don't make qualms about my age. This year I'll be 40 years. I've been working practically all my adult life.
You know why you don't make qualms about it?
How am I? Oh yeah, a lot of men hide their age. Me, I'm not one of those. How am I going to buy a house with your present killer prices? Just before we came up, I was saying that, look, some of the rents that people pay, it can even be down payments for some houses.
Yeah. Sure, that's true.
So the rental authority, and this, I'll be on my brother, Honorable Housen, Asensu Boachi. I know he's seriously working on getting these things, but these are some of the things they should consider. There are young people who can raise rent of 10,000. If a young person can raise rent of 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 for 2-3 years, that person can use that as a down payment for a house. So that the rental that you pay for the house every month, if it's 1,000 cedis, 700 cedis, you pay it monthly to the real estate owners. And within 2-3 years, I'm sure you'll be done. Let's look at all these things because it is a headache.
That is why we're introducing Trasacco Springs.
Kwame.
To allow you.
Kwame, please. It's a headache.
And so if you have rental challenges, if you are unable to buy properties and
down payment.
Kwame, we have a problem.
Very cheap.
We have a problem in this country.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
We have a serious problem in this country. Our laws are not working.
But they are there.
In such a way that
that's true.
A student or maybe a graduate from the University of Ghana, UDS, Cape Coast will finish. He or she has gotten a job somewhere and accommodation becomes a problem. Meanwhile, the estate industry, real estate industry, are milking the nation. Because you cannot be owning a whole vast of land with estates and you are even selling or collecting rent and not paying anything to the government. Now, the MMDC is, yesterday I saw, is it today's paper, Honorable Damboche, he is a local government minister, saying that the assembly should be innovative. Government too are pampering the MMDCs too much because like KMA, AMA, TMA, they have no business for government to give them anything to run their district.
I agree. That's why I agree with you.
Even university.
You understand? So many of the district, you can even generate funds internally. Yeah. You understand?
Trasacco is under which district?
Because if it's anything at all,
Trasacco,
let's zone authority. You see,
Adenton.
You see,
so
there's
why should Adenton be collecting some of the...
Look, there's a simple way. Every area has its design. When you go to the land commission or something, this is the map of Kwabenya. Okay? So government can even allow the people there, that's the district assembly, to give special numbers to the houses that are located in the, let me say, Madina La Quantana. Yeah. Then they have the data of those houses. Not rent, property rates. That's number one. Before you identify homes that are being rented. Because now, A chamber and hall self-contained costs about 450 Ghana to 400 to 450 in Ashoma, Kwabenya. At the end of the month, they take 2 years advance. Multiply 450 by 12 times 2. How many young men like Bless can just go and rent such an apartment? The rent control, they just came to talk blah, 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 blah. They are not implementing the laws. Because in abroad, where they go and work and even get dollars, they don't pay 6 months rent advance. But people can even have the infantry, the audacity to advertise that they should come and rent, and they need 2 years advance.
3 years.
And I don't see the security agencies chasing them. You understand?
But who is going to report?
Wait. My sister, wait. The issue is that we have failed as a nation. Because there shouldn't be 3 laws or 2 laws in this country. No. And then you have a situation, because of the way they are charging the rent, Ghanaians are now running away to Eburi and to rent houses. That is why when we are coming to work in Accra, Shiashi is choked, Amasaman is choked, because we have all run away from the town because we cannot pay the rent that are being charged here. It is occupied by Nigerians, Liberian, Chinese, Indians, and please. What kind of rubbish is this?
But they will tell you that
You understand? So there are no laws. The laws are not working, because Ghanaians should feel free to work where they will be comfortable and go to work for proper productive activity. We are not doing that.
Anyway,
we are not doing that.
Hopefully we'll be able
so
to do
I
something.
think we should do it in such a way that we can. Let me tell you, I'm telling you, if we look at the Auditor General report from 1993 to 2000 that we owe, how many billion?
Affordable.
How many billion? 12 point something billion. Okay, that's one aside. Judgment debt that were paid wrongly. Another one. People who have chopped money that they are not supposed to chop. Another one. And rents, and then what's the name? Property rate. Or like we have no business going to IMF or World Bank for them, or even imposing any distance.
And even the tax exemptions for these.
Exactly.
No, I said it from the beginning. I said it. We have it in our manifesto.
Kwame, you see.
Till now, I don't even know why they exempt people from
Kwame, the truth is, this issue about rent, like my sister
Elena,
Kwame, it's a serious matter. Kwame, you see, for instance, this is a national service student who was posted to Accra, has no relative in Accra, must look for an accommodation. And sometimes even getting an accommodation, like Haji alluded to, is outskirts of Accra. And now, outskirts of Accra, what it simply means is even that allowance alone will be consumed by transportation. And you see, I keep on asking myself a simple question, Kwame. We claim that there's a law in our books that govern the rent control regime or the rent regime. And yet we are told that, even a landlord cannot take exceeding, is it 6 months we were told, cannot take this amount of money or what have you. And yet, when you even go looking for an apartment to rent, even the amount of money they will mention, like my sister Ellen said, some of them are even down payments, right, for even estate houses.
Yeah.
So you see, I like what she just said. She said, listen, can there be a policy that, listen, it's obvious that even in Accra here, the influx of people coming to Accra, because obviously it's the nation's capital, and people think that this is where we can access job opportunities and what have you. But Kwame, see, I'm telling you today, Kwame, even some marriages are collapsing because of this rent matters. I'm telling you, because somebody is unable to even bring the wife to work in Accra, because I'm just living in a single room. Just stay wherever you are. You understand? And Kwame, the problem is, even young guys who are even thinking of entrepreneurship skills, business skills, even when you are going to rent a space to start business, it's a problem.
You have to do it in your bedroom.
Like my sister is saying, sometimes even places like the Spinsters and what have you, how much it costs for people to rent even for a month. Recently, there was something that was even on Facebook. Just timber hustle contain. Someone running around the park.
To sell online.
Kwame,
because
it was costing 1,500. Just single self-contained.
1,500.
Yes, it was on Facebook. I think they advertised it around the East Lagos or something like that.
Yeah, 1,500.
And even in La Paz, chamber house self-contained was costing 1,600.
La Paz here.
Yes. Kwame, the point, like my sister said, if you are not, if you are very good, that's the point. So the demand for it is so high.
Yeah,
the demand for it is so high.
The problem is even that, even if you are not happy with it, what can you do? You are not report. By the time you come back, somebody else has taken it.
No, you see,
Kwame, that's why I'm saying that. Like my sister, you see, that is why.
Don't care
even
because
what happened in other jurisdictions, for anybody to place a property for rent, it must go through certain channels. Because when you allow people to advertise it themselves, and people go and say, listen, I want to rent it. Kwame, once you are even negotiating, at the point of negotiating, even can you take 50 Ghana cedis off? Somebody
some country, that is why lands are not for anybody.
Let me tell you, I used to rent.
But here, you have your property on the land. People say it's
Kwame, in concluding, that is why for me, the issue about agreement, right, should not be left to be rotten. For me, that is my issue.
Ellen made a point about this agent and things like that. Charlie, and we didn't actually focus because the agents alone, they take about
10%
or 10%
from you.
What are they paying?
Going around with them, they are showing you houses. They are taking money.
They don't pay anything.
Let me tell you, I used to live in my homes, self-contained. This is 7-8 years ago, right? And yeah, the first time I went, at the time, the rent was I think 150 Ghana cedis. So we rented for 2 years. And then the 2 years expired, and then I wanted to renew. The man said it has moved to 300 Ghana cedis.
That's what they do.
So I asked the man, please, did you buy additional iron rods? or did you buy cement? He said,
Kwame, let's call a spade a spade. Leadership, they buy government bungalows and what have you. So they don't really care about the ordinary Ghanaian. We have to stop that policy.
Yeah, we have to stop it.
That policy must be stopped. Somebody will be in a government bungalow as a minister, and then you say you want to buy that bungalow. If somebody has bought that bungalow, will you come and people? Please, let's look at that policy. It's a bad policy.
And this is what we are talking about. It's not. Do you know even the people who work in the security agencies or services, the police people? If you see where they live,
some of them have their food outside.
If you see where they live, you will cry. Look, just close to the Flagstaff. There's a Jubilee House. There's a police.
Let me tell you.
Their fridges and everything is outside. Why?
Let me tell you, the police.
Why are we so wicked in this?
The police, they are renting a house in Bolga. I'm telling you, they don't take care of.
It's not even about that. I mean, this is maybe one out of maybe in every institution you have.
You should have.
Okay, let me allow you.
So if government,
because my father,
listen,
my father was also a police officer. Yeah,
you have vast land that you can build because the houses that the colonial masters built for the police is like prisoners. That is what I'm saying. You understand? Look, those of us private people who are giving our properties to the police too. Look at what they were doing.
It is one out of.
If you are renting a single apartment to a police officer, once he has his fridge and other materials outside, what kind of environment do you expect?
Let me tell you, you can build a simple 2 bedrooms. You know, the police have
around
Dansoma. There's a building around Dansoma.
Kwame, you know what?
They have some there.
But then, Kwame, I was born in. I was born in
police, they don't know how to do.
When my father left Wa,
but anyway, their destiny is not good. Even let me tell you, the soldiers, Bema camp, go. It's like a cubicle.
That is true.
You see, so this Bema camp buildings, you can decide to make build high-rising buildings, comfortable ones for them. Accra Central, the land is very big.
Why?
They
in
can
the
build.
UK, we've lived. Why? In the UK,
they should live within our
my wife's cousin is an army officer.
He's in the
community. He doesn't live in a bungalow. He doesn't live
in the barracks.
There's a security system.
He doesn't live in the barracks.
Anyway, you can look at that one too.
Must we necessarily count these military people in the barracks?
In the barracks.
For what?
Anyway, that's
I'm telling you, we're going to a point where we need to move away from all of these.
No, that's a colonial.
It's colonialism, and then the senior officers are the ones enjoying luxurious life. Why do you think why don't you think they'll be upset? They'll be upset.
No, for me.
They'll be upset.
Look at
Bema. We will talk for them.
Bema camp, they started building. So that's what I'm saying. Where they have built like kiosks, people in a cubicle, no, with their toilet and bathroom inside, they can start building outside like this. You see, while the main builders is inside, then they flow it like this. And then when they finish, they'll occupy and then do the last.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking outside the box.
They don't think. They don't want to think.
Because those of us who they are renting now, this thing is spending them because they pay us peanuts.
Do you pay SNET?
Yes, of course I do pay SNET.
I believe all of us here.
Yes, we pay SNET.
We pay SNET so far as you are informal. Even if you are, all these years, I've had an issue with SNET. And I have two. One, when my mother passed away, 2 years before her, she went for her retirement. After working for like 22 years,
the money you get, you cry.
So she died. We went to SNET. If I tell you the amount of money we got from SNET, and my mother wasn't in a, lower level. She was management level somebody for all her life.
Wow.
It was less than 100,000 Ghana cedis. My mother died 10 years ago.
And you can't buy it.
Now my father is on pension. You know how much my father, who retired as a manager at ADB, my father earns less than 700 cedis.
A month.
700
as a pensioner, a manager.
Okay.
Now, assuming my father hasn't made all his arrangements, so can you imagine
this country?
But SNET builds buildings. Go on the let me finish on the Sakumono Road. When you just hit from Spintex, they hit the roundabout. Who bought them?
They know.
Why can't SNET beneficiaries like my father and myself, as I sit here, why as a SNET beneficiary? Why can't I buy?
I don't buying it.
Why can't I buy a house?
Sometimes
At least
even buy
with
10.
my rent. Now these things are done. This sagleme you are talking about, my brother, let them complete. Me and you,
you won't get some.
not get
You
some.
won't get some. Won't get some. What are you talking about?
And it is not today matter.
Oh,
It started years ago. All the SNET housing in Danso, which people bought them?
Won't get some.
All the SNET housing. Thank you. Who bought them? But we are all paying for SNET. And we will pay for SNET whether you like it or not. If you like, don't pay SNET. They will take you to court. You go to prison.
Listen,
I'm done.
Teachers are also going through it. The police going through it. The military going through it. I don't know about even the immigration officers. See their posts. See their posts. The immigration officers and then the custom officers.
The issue is that
where they live.
we don't have a system in place that will take care of our housing policy in this country.
My time is up. I have to run.
We'll say maybe we are going to build these houses in Bolgatanga. These houses in
State housing is trying. But when they finish, me and you
wait to accommodate civil and public servants.
Look, that is why there's corruption. People don't understand. The reason why there's corruption is because the system doesn't take care of these people. The system doesn't take care of them. Why should somebody sacrifice himself for the system when the system continuously without fail frustrates them?
Kwame, imagine somebody taking.
They're frustrated by the system. The teacher will work. The teacher will work. When they go on pension, they take home 200 Ghana cedis. For so many years, the policeman will dedicate himself, his life, his everything. They will go home and earn 500
71 whole days are those chopping the money.
Somebody will go to parliament for 4 years. And then they are
Madness. They should stop talking about corruption.
We need to change. We need to change.
That ex-gratia thing must change.
Something must happen.
You see, it's even morally wrong.
Yes, something must happen.
Morally
somebody
wrong
will just work for 4 years.
For you to work for 4 years, take ex-gratia. 4 years, take ex-gratia.
No. Something has to happen. Look.
What will happen is that we have to.
You know what I know. You guys want me to go. I know. But you see, the thing is
somebody
that
is in parliament.
hold on, Asia.
Ex-gratia.
The thing is that we are fighting a misplaced fight. That's always the problem.
Sure.
Instead of focusing so much on Akufo-Addo and his people, perhaps we should be fighting on how we can better the system and make sure that the structure works. If the structure works, you don't even care about Akufo-Addo because the system will deal with him. And will deal with all the inaccuracies. I'm telling you. That is what we should focus on. We should be fighting for the betterment of the teacher, of the police officer, of the immigration officer,
of the SNET
payer. Those are the fights that we should fight, and not all of
when
these
I was in
gay fighters.
When we were in primary school, my teachers from class 1 to 6, 3 were Northerners, 3 were Southerners.
Yes.
Even from Apafu and from Nkonya, they came and they were teaching in Bolgatanga. They were teaching in Boga. During the 2012 election campaign, I met one who is a chief in Volta region. I was able to recognize. He said, "What?" I said, "Yes, you were in Abelba." And I told him the story. He said, "Yes." But now, People don't even want to go to the rural communities.
Nobody wants to go.
We are only developing the big towns. Let's decentralize. Proper decentralization.
I'm done.
And for
but,
us to people to be comfortable to look. You said Libya. There's no village.
Yeah, I'm done.
Because everything is everywhere.
But
everywhere.
you see, the workings of Parliament must begin. No, Parliament must begin to work.
Sure.
And address the fundamental challenges
Issues.
of ordinary people.
Of course.
Because the things that they should be interested in, those are not the things they are interested in. They should be fighting about how we can make our rent system better. How we can make sure that the SNIT payers enjoy the fruit of their labor. And how we can make sure that the police officers live in a comfortable home so that they can dedicate themselves to the service of Ghana. Those are the things they should be concerned about. Every time, Gay, what has that got to do with anything? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Trasacco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious